Welcome to step 2 of the Standout Courses that Sell system, in which we're going to convert your expertise into a unique course that can actually sell. So before we go into any further in this course, I want to make sure that you've gone through the niche selection process in step 1.8. If you haven't, then please go back to that video and complete the 5-step niche identification process, because we're going to need the ideas from that video that you came up with here in this module. You will not actually be creating any course material in this step. In fact, you won't be creating any course material until you validate your course idea and have data that shows you that it can actually sell. But we're going to be working on your course outline. And why are we doing it this way? Because the biggest mistake course creators make is creating courses before they actually validate them. This is one of the biggest mistakes. You want to have as much certainty as possible before you go create the course, because why spend time creating something that may not sell? One of the key things that I want to be able to help you with in this system is to have certainty that what you're going to create is actually going to sell. All we're focusing on until your course idea is validated is just coming up with the structure of the course, meaning the things that you would actually sell if you were going to go and create the course. So before then, I'm going to help you come up with all of the things that you can do in order to help the customer reach their goal, all of your bonuses that are going to make your course even more irresistible, and any additional resources that you can sell to the same customers to maximize your average order value through upsells. So let's proceed to step 2.1, which is going to be identifying your customer's current situation. In this video, we're going to start mapping out your customer journey, which is going to determine what you're going to include in your course material. This process begins by outlining your ideal customer's current situation. And notice that I'm using plural here. I want you to keep in mind that we are going after an audience and groups of people. So I want you to focus on identifying problems that groups of people have, not just individuals. And why are we starting with that? And why are we not doing something else first? Let me give an example. So let's say that you are looking to go on a trip and you go on a website to book flight tickets. The first thing that flight booking websites are going to ask you is where you're flying from. And that's kind of like why we're starting here, because before we go any further, we want to be able to identify where your ideal audience is currently at in their journey and where do we start. And of course, I have some questions that are going to help you identify your target customer's current situation. So the first part of the questions are going to be about their demographics. So we want to be able to describe this person, like who are they? Are they male or female? What do they do for a living? What is the relationship status, and do they have kids? What is the biggest problem that they face on a daily basis? How does that problem affect their health, money, and relationships? And what about the problem frustrates your ideal customer the most? So as an example, let's say that the person or target audience is male, 35 to 54, and they're running their own local business. They're married and they have multiple children. And the problem they face is that they invested their life savings and started a local business. And because they charge low prices, they can't really afford to hire other people and they have to do everything themselves, which basically makes them work 60 hours per week, and they barely see their kids during weekdays. And the problem, the frustration that they have is despite the fact they're working 60 hours per week, they're still not making enough, not making as much as they would like, and they're not able to spend enough time with their family. So once we go through that, we want to be able to answer some more questions. So like, what thoughts does the problem create in their head? Like, what are they thinking about the problem? Are these thoughts compulsive, meaning that they happen repeatedly and the person feels urged to respond to these thoughts whenever they pop up? So an example would be they're constantly worried that if something were to happen to them, then their family would be left without any income, right? That's a very real thought that those people might be having. How does that problem make them feel about themselves? Well, they may feel that they're a bad parent, that they're a bad provider, that they may be judging themselves. They may feel like they're missing out on moments and memories that will never happen again. Does that problem change other people's perception of your customers? And if so, then describe how. You want to examine this point from the point of view of their closest friends, family as well as strangers. So an example would be here from closest friends is that he has his own business. Like this person that we talked about, they have their own business. It's working on the time, like maybe they're greedy or something, like are they struggling? Do they have problems? Are they in debt? Like maybe they just value money over their family. Like those are all questions that those people could be asking themselves. From the point of view of their family, it could be that, dad is never around, he works too much, the husband is never there to help. And from other people, maybe this person, because they work so much, they don't look very well. So like maybe the people are wondering if they're sick, right? And does the problem finally, does the problem change how they look? Does it have an effect on their appearance? So for example, in this case, it could be that the person works so much that they don't have time to take proper care of themselves. They don't have time for physical activity. So they have like bags under the eyes and all of the other symptoms that would be associated with being overworked and being tired. Going even deeper with this, does the problem make the person unable to perform certain tasks or activities that they would otherwise be able to do? And how does that affect them? Does it affect their health, money, or relationships? So in this example, they can't attend their kids' sporting events at school, right? That's a very big thing that they're missing out on. Next thing is, what will happen if they don't fix the problem? Are there any consequences regarding health, money, or relationships? Well, in this example, they risk ruining their marriage and even potentially ruining their relationship with their children, right? All very real concerns. What have your customers already tried to fix their problem? In this example, maybe they tried hiring employees, but they were only able to afford unskilled people and basically it didn't work out. What are some of the other things that they might have tried? And finally, what are your customers trying to fix their problem and failing? So this person, it could be that they're working even more and even more harder and harder in the hopes that they'll finally make enough to hire someone. But the real problem that they don't know that they have is that they're not charging enough, right? So those are all questions that are going to help you identify your customer's ideal situation. And a couple more questions that can help you describe the customer's ideal situation. What ineffective techniques or strategies are they trying to fix the problem? Why are they ineffective? So as we went over in one of the previous steps, this person has tried to hire other employees, but they still couldn't make it work because they weren't able to afford skilled people. So if they continue doing this, they will end up being exhausted, and their way of solving the problem does not address the real cause. So that's the very reason why it's ineffective, right? What terms do your customers use to describe themselves? This is going to help you call out your ideal target audience and get them to self-select from the audience to basically respond to your ads. So it could be that this person is saying that they're overwhelmed, overworked, that they're a provider, they're a parent, that they're a business owner, right? And what does this person think about their problem and not tell anyone? Well, maybe they think that they should just get a steady job and close the business because it's not working out, right? And finally, what are experts or other people telling them that they need to do to fix their problem? And the advice that they might be hearing is that they need to work less, which obviously in their case doesn't cut it because that's not that doesn't address the real problem and what they actually want, right? You'll probably be able to answer a lot of these questions yourself if you have experience working with the type of problems that you can solve for your customers. I encourage you to double check and verify your assumptions about your customers as much as possible just to make sure that you can actually give them the solution that they're looking for. And what you can do to double check your assumptions is, for example, going to Facebook groups relevant to your niche and checking for what questions people are asking, what language they're using to describe their problems. That's going to be very powerful. That's going to help you craft your messaging. How to find those Facebook groups? Well, just go to Facebook, search for keywords that are related to your specific industry or niche, then narrow down your search results to groups. Join a few of these groups. You're ideally looking for private groups that asks members some questions before they join, because this typically means that the group is going to be higher quality. What you can also do is use a website such as answerthepublic.com to see how people formulate questions around your niche. It is free until a certain point, so you can ask it, you can type in a couple of keywords and it's going to give you answers for free. If you want to use it more, then you're going to have to purchase a paid account. You totally don't have to do that. You can just do fine with the free account. And then once you have those questions, what you want to do is you want to go to YouTube and see what content, like basically type in whatever phrases Answer the Public gives you, and then go to YouTube to see what kind of content has been created around these topics and like what language it's using to talk about these topics. Pay very close attention to comments, especially the ones with a lot of thumbs up and replies, because that's going to basically tell you like what people respond to. And also take note of the title of the videos with the most amount of views, because the reason they have a lot of views is because they have something interesting in them that draws your target audience to them. You're especially looking for solution-oriented phrases such as how to X, like how to do X, right? Or ways to X, or any similar ones that are focused on identifying the solution to a particular problem. Another thing that you could do is going to Amazon.com and finding book categories that are relevant to your niche. Find books with lots of reviews, both positive and negative, and see what people like and dislike about the book. And also pay attention to what the book description says. That can again point you in the direction of what messaging your market responds to. The other thing you can do is go and check your competitors' messaging. So you can use the Facebook ads library, spy tools such as AdSpy to check what messaging your competitors are using. Especially pay special attention to the outcomes and timelines that they're promising and what benefits they're claiming, because if they're running a lot of ads, then this means that people find these outcomes and benefits attractive because they respond to them, right? Next thing you can do is check what questions people are asking on forums such as Reddit and Quora, how they're talking about the problem, what replies people have posted in response to these questions, and which replies have the most upvotes. That's again going to tell you what people think is right and what they respond to. What you can also do is you can interview a couple of people from within your target audience and ask them all of the questions that I've gone through with you in this video. This is often the best way to gather information, and what you can do is offer your expert guidance in return, or simply tell them that you're working on a course that will address their particular problem and that they can receive access to it for free when your course is ready. I recommend that you spend 1 to 2 hours brainstorming and researching this topic, because it's going to strongly affect the content that you actually put in your course, and thus it's going to affect how attractive your course is going to be. So I strongly recommend that you spend some time on this because it's going to be crucial. And again, the best time to do this is now. If you tell yourself that you'll do it later, tomorrow, or when you feel like it, there's a chance that you're never going to do it. So the earlier you start, the better. Please don't skip this crucial step. I know that you may be tempted to go and watch the next video, but the thing is, if you don't do it now, again, you may never do it. If you think that you don't need to do this, or that it doesn't apply to you, I still encourage you to do this anyway, and to verify your assumptions. Write everything down that you come up here during this step, because it's going to be incredibly helpful to you in later steps of the SCTS system. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one, and I'll see you soon.